Hi, it's Alan with AKRC Products. Wanted to have a quick video. Hopefully, I'll try to make this quick, so it's not a real long video. Just update on a couple of new products that we have coming out. Some updates on some new testing that we've kind of discovered and found, and kind of where everything's at. So first up, stuff that's on the website right now that is available that's new. Haven't done a video yet on it, but we've done a couple of videos, posts as far as pictures and stuff. This is the new Grom paddles. So lots of different colors, different options. We have splits, we have straights. Grom was a little bit of a challenge, and it's going to go through a couple redesigns. This is the first one. We have what's called the Lotus pattern here, and then we have the kind of the spiral pattern here. So different color options on the rims. Any color option pretty much works. The Grom isn't real demanding as far as, I don't think we're going to be breaking rims and stuff too much on the Grom. It's not a real heavy car. So we might play around with a couple different rim designs on that, but that is available on the website. Rim options and color options for tires and wheels. Next up, that's currently live on the website, launched this week. Days are running together. UDR paddles. Took me a while to do a UDR paddle because I don't have a UDR to test, number one, but also there's not a lot of comp paddles out there to look at that people are running and having some success with. No one really makes a UDR paddle, it seems like, using some of the other paddles that are out there, but there's I don't know, it kind of was trying to figure out the right size, and I think we've got a good size. It's a 154 by 60 and 6 by 30 hubs, so you can run the the UDR hubs on there. It's about a halfway offset. So if we're looking at where this hub is sitting, it's about halfway down the center of the tire. So that gets our offset out a little bit. If you're running a body, probably going to require some trimming. It is bigger than the stock tire. I don't have a stock tire with me, but it is considerably taller than a stock tire. And that's because you need to get the bottom of the car up out of the sand. If it's a small tire, as soon as it takes off and buries, it's just going to be, sitting on the bottom of the car. So we had to raise it up a little bit. So we found out that this is a 154, and that seems to be a good size. Paddle, as far as depth, I think we're okay. Could it be a little wider? Maybe, but I think this is going to fit pretty well, and we'll get feedback as these, get out there. It's not limited to a UDR. This is basically, pretty much a 160 by 60 tire. If we look at, this tire here, this is a 160. We'll go over this one. This is a 160 by 50. It's just a hair taller, than the 154. It's not that big. So this tire could be used on different cars. So it's not limited just to the UDR. We just kind of fit the offset and everything to kind of fit the UDR best. But it is on a 6 by 30 hub, Power Hobbies hub, or any of the other hubs that are out there. On the 6 by 30s, it'll work. So that is the UDR 154 by 60 tire. Next up is one we're working on. We have a new class that we're racing in Huntington as part of the RC Sand Sharks, races. And we've been working with some hobby shops, and they want to bring an RTR style car to the track. So we have some RTR races, some stock races. So we kind of brought the integrated hex. Get this to focus here. The integrated hex into the wheel back. I did this, about a year or so ago on some RTR style wheels. They did pretty well. We didn't really have too many stripping out, but it was designed for 2S, 3S power, and not for a lot of power. The Proline hubs themselves strip out under high power. So we can't expect, a 3D printed material to do a lot better than a molded nylon material. So, but it does do pretty well. I avoided the hex built in because I didn't want to have to replace a wheel because we stripped out a hex. And I was trying to avoid that. I didn't want people spending a lot of money because of a simple little hex strip out. So We went to the hubs, that way they're replaceable and easy to use. So we are bringing this one kind of back out of retirement. That way people can buy a car at a hobby shop, win a car at one of the events, and bolt on some paddles without having to deal with hubs and go out and race. So we're going to have this, available soon. We're also going to have this RTR paddle in a 125 millimeter by 52 12 paddle. A little smoother power, a little less bite, so it's not as much strain on the drivetrain and the electronics. So that's also one that we're going to have out. But this is it's about 120 millimeter. Fits the Slash four-wheel drive perfectly. The Slash Ultimate just tucks right in there as the wheel comes up. Barely touches the body. Might require a little trimming on the body, but for the most part, works pretty well. Offset is dialed in for that. And we're not new to the 12 millimeter hexes. We have those built in there. Following along that whole style with the hex built in, this is for the MiniMax. So a lot of requests for the MiniMax. MiniMax was a little bit of a challenge. They're using 1/10 scale hardware and drivetrain. So the inner hubs and tie rods and turnbuckles and all that stuff, if you look at the stock wheel, there's barely any clearance there between the wheel. My wheels are thicker, just because the way they're made and the way the T-lock works. The only way to get more clearance is just to make the diameter bigger. Trying to avoid that because there's a certain optimal diameter, I think, that fits that car. Stock size is about 100 millimeter, 98 millimeter or so. We had to go up to 108, which typically on a paddle tire we go a little taller anyway. But so we're riding around about 100, 108, still pretty close. But with that development and trying to get that size right, I reworked the T-lock system. So we will be having a new T-lock come out. If I can get this focused here, this is the original T-lock size and kind of dimension here. We're going to go to a T-lock 2.0. T-lock 2.0 is going to change this a little bit. It's going to make this T-lock thinner. We have screw holes that we have to deal with, so we can't really go too small. But we're widening the T and making it a little bit narrower. So that's going to allow us to take this gap and shrink up this ring on the outside on this locking ring. So once we do that, we can actually expand out this inside without making the tire diameter longer or taking the carcass up and shrinking the paddle. So it's going to give us a little better options. Trying to avoid changing the T-lock. That way it's universal from, a year from now, you need a new rim or you want to change the color of your car, you buy new rims, away you go. So T-lock 2.0 will be coming out. And eventually all the tires, I think, will probably get upgraded to 2.0 as they come out and new sizes come out. But we'll see. It's a lot of redesign on my part to redo all the T-locks. And this is tried and true for 2 years, so we know the T-locks hold really well. All right. Another tires that are up on the website now, Typon tires, 150 by 50 seems to be the optimal size for a Typon. So that size is up on the website. We also do custom sizes. This is a 160 by 50. Also will work on Mojave's, Typon, that kind of stuff. So 8 by 32 hub built in here for 17 millimeter. If you want to run this on 12 millimeter, we can do a 6 by 30 hub, but ideally the 8 by 32 hub is stronger. It has more material on the hex. So if you're putting more power to them, you need the bigger one. So, but 150 by 60 is up. This is a 160 by 50. 150 by 60 is another option. Also, hit me up if you want custom sizes and you're trying to get a right tune or size to fit your car. So that one will be up soon. 160 by 50 will be available. And the next one up is a 140 by 50. This is a great little tire. It's a good universal tire. When you look at our standard size that's on 10th scale cars, is a 130 by 70, 130 by 80. This is a 140 by 50, so a little narrower. Works great as a front tire on a four-wheel drive. If you're pairing it up with, say, the 150, that's a good option. So But yeah, lots of different options there, for the tires. Oh, I need a battery pack. All right. Had a battery die on the camera, so video might have changed here a little bit, but trying to follow up on my train of thought here real quick. 140 by 50s, 160 by 50s. You can mix and match. Lots of different size options. We can custom build sizes. Hit me up. Message me. If I miss your message, I apologize. I get messages from Facebook, from TikTok, Instagram, personal channel, on the AKRC's channel. So message me. Facebook, if you have Facebook, usually is the best one. It manages is the best. I miss a lot of messages just because the amount that come in sometimes. And it's hard to find them after I see them. So, but anyway, send me a message, send me an email off the website, info@AKRC Products, or go on the website, akrcproducts.com, and message me direct there. We have so many sizes. I guarantee you nobody's making as many sizes as we are, and variations. I tried to upgrade my website about a year ago to move over to a different platform, and they wouldn't accept it because there's too many variations of tires and colors and options. Back then, before releasing all the new sizes, we had 1,600 different variations. When you look at ring colors, tire colors, splits, rim configurations and colors, it winds up to be a lot of options. We might start dialing those back a little bit in 2025, but we'll see. If we get overwhelmed, then we'll change some of the sizes and bring those back down a little bit. But as far as all the options, but right now, lots of options on the website. I get a lot of questions on what tires I should run. I'm going to try to do better on each page for each one of the tires and rims, and make sure that we kind of put recommendations on what they're compatible with and what they run on. We're also going to start doing a new series on featured rides and featured racers, maybe show what their configurations are and what they're running. I can give you a little bit of a guideline right now, right? So if you're running 10 scale 3S mod, right, one of the most popular classes, that's 130 millimeter tire, right? 130 millimeter by 70 or 130 millimeter by 80. You can run those in splits, you can run them in straights. That's pretty much the popular. If you're running two-wheel drive, stock two-wheel drive classes, 125 by 52s is kind of the standard on there. So, that's more the short course style. 2S size is a 125. If you're running typon, you're running 150 by 50s. Maxes, you're looking at a 165 by 90 works on the maxes. Those are a larger tire. You get into the X Max and the fifth scale, quarter scale stuff. Those are the 220 millimeter tires. 220 millimeter tires now have options. You're going to see on the website change. We have those in a 90 millimeter wide, and we also have those in an 80 and a 70. A little less traction. We also have a short paddle. Turns out those are grabbing a lot more than we anticipated. And as we get some feedback from Dubai, we might change those. But we do have a shorter paddle option, a little less load on the drivetrain and electronics, and pulling little less amps. So, but I get a lot of questions on what size I should run on the tires, and we're going to try to update the website to be a little bit more informative on what might fit what car. But really, it comes up to the racer. Everyone, what we think might be perfect for a car, you try something different, and it works better for your gearing and your driving style and your track. So, I hate to make a recommendation and not be the best one, but there is, somewhat of a guideline, a base size that we go off of. My recommendation for you is I list everything in millimeters. 100, it seems to be the universal on a lot of websites. Because you get into 8ths and 16ths and half inches, it's harder to get an exact. Millimeters are pretty exact. We've got 154 millimeters, not 155, 154 for whatever reason. That's what it worked out to be. But look at other tire sizes that are out there that you're running. Compare that. So look at the manufacturer's website and see what the specs are on the tire that you're running now, and then find a comparable paddle size off of the website and buy that one. So that'll give you a good guideline of know where that's at. The offsets will change a little bit. You know, we tried to find an easy offset that kind of works a lot of different cars. For the most part, I haven't too many complaints about the offset. Some people like to really tuck their tires in, so that gets more of a custom offset at that point. But check the manufacturer's website of the tire you're running now, and then kind of base on, you know, picking your size that way. With that said, these tires run a lot different than a rubber tire, so you're gonna have to gear down probably 3 pinion sizes, 2 at the minimum, probably maybe 3 going down. If you're used to running a 23, you're gonna have to go down to a 20, 19 or 20, and try that out. They grab a lot harder, so you're gonna need a little bit more. They're gonna load down the electronics more. So just keep that in mind. All right. One last thing I want to go over: as tires are starting to go overseas to Dubai and the desert, we're going to get into the summer months. These tires, you know, they're not going to handle high heat very well. So if you're storing these, don't store them with any pressure on the paddles. Don't store them on your car. You know, don't don't leave them leaning up against something and where they're going to get hot. So just keep that in mind, and they'll be fine. When you take them off the car and you're storing them, just stack them. And we're talking high heat, you know, but you know, sometimes in storage or in the back of a truck or a car, they can get hot. You know, I start worrying about these if we start seeing 130 degrees or so. It might start softening. The paddles will start getting really soft, and they'll bounce back. You know, but just long pressure, long term, it can cause an issue. We don't really have a different option on the paddle itself for a higher temperature paddle. We could go to a different material, but it's not going to really make that much of a difference. The rim, there's lots of options on some higher temp materials, but it gets expensive at that point. And I just don't think it's worth it. And it doesn't necessarily make them stronger. Yeah, we can get some temperature resistance, but it's not necessarily going to make the rim stronger. So, you know, I've been a little hesitant to swap that out. If we start getting a lot more tires that are going over to Dubai and Qatar, which I have started shipping over there, we might have to change that up a little bit. Might have to, you know, go to a different rim. But right now, we've been slowly over the last 3 years developing a rim and material testing that is pretty reliable. You know, things do break, but for the most part, it's pretty reliable. I'm a little hesitant to just change that up with a new material, and then throw 12S power at it, dual motor 12S, which is what some of those guys are running over there. You know, I don't know if the tires are going to hold up on what they're doing with them over there, but that's the great thing about testing. You know, we basically can, you know, we can change it, we can modify it, so we can, you know, make the rim stronger, we can try different materials, but we got to start somewhere. So we go with what was working here, and then see what they do to it, and then we'll make it stronger. So anyway, video went a little longer than I anticipated, but anyway, have any questions, message me, but look for the website. I will be posting when new tires are released and when they're available, but probably in the next couple of days. MiniMax RTRs will be available, and the 150 by 50s are already up. 160 by 50s will be up next on the website. So we've been testing them and running them, and they've been fine. So it just really depends on your configuration. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you at the next race.